The real reason why Zion has improved since last season.
It'll be Zion on the hammer!
When Zion burst onto the scene a year ago, we were all blown away by his massive build, ridiculous athleticism and undeniable God-given talent. Many had seen his jaw-dropping highlights from high school or his dominant display at Duke, but had serious questions about his longevity and conditioning when considering his size and style of play. Drawing comparisons to the like of Blake Griffin, Charles Barkley and LeBron James to name a few, Zion has always been labelled as an unbelievably athletic prospect that exudes raw strength, size, power and supreme talent. However, even when comparing Zion to some of these NBA legends, you don't have to look far to see the substantially overpowering athletic advantage Zion's had over his fellow classmates. With all of that being said, due to Zion's larger build and his crazy athletic style of play, quite a few NBA experts saw a Derrick Rose-like scenario potentially occurring with Zion, in that he'll surely dominate the league for the time he's in the NBA with his drive, power and raw ability to finish above the rim. But for how long will that be? Or how long will he be able to play at an elite level for? Although only after 1 year at Duke, he proved his worth when he got drafted first overall in 2019 by the New Orleans Pelicans, as many suspected. However, Zion was unable to make his NBA debut until January 2020, as he was sidelined for the first 3 months of the season due to a preseason meniscus tear. He ended up finishing his rookie campaign with just 24 games under his belt, but he'd put on enough impressive outings to have nearly taken home the Rookie of the Year had it not been for the tremendous play of fellow South Carolinian Ja Morant. Coming into the season, many NBA pundits saw this year to be the true test to see if Zion could indeed live up to the hype that had been placed on him from such a young age. Well, to put it simply, Zion has demolished expectations this season. He's improved his overall play in nearly every facet of the game, even earning himself his first All-Star appearance just a couple of days ago. However, when you truly break down Zion's game, you can see how his massive jump from last season to this season can be attributed mainly to his usage, efficiency and playmaking ability. Let's take a look at the real reason Zion has improved since last season. 1. Usage. First and foremost, a large reason why Zion's taken such a massive leap this season is because he's had more control of the game. Since bringing in new defensive-minded head coach Stan Van Gundy, many thought more emphasis would be placed on the defensive end for Zion, and yet it's his offensive numbers that have had the greatest impact. Rather than predominantly functioning as a roller, cutter and post-up scorer, he's been granted the freedom to dribble up court, run pick and rolls as a ball handler, target mismatches and look to collapse defenses. Zion has been far more empowered with the ball in his hands, and it's really had a significant impact on the team as a whole. When you break it down, more than 35% of his field goal attempts happen after at least 3 dribbles. Comparing this to last season, just 13.5% of his field goal attempts came following 3 dribbles plus. Over his first 10 games of the 2020-21 season, that number only ticked up to 18.2%. Similarly, 11.4% of his touches span at least 6 seconds throughout this time, quite the jump from 1.9% during the first 10 games and 1.8% of last year. All of this on top of his massive jump in terms of offensive scoring output, that includes 22.5 points per game to 25.6 per game, on over 60% from the field shooting, has exemplified how important it is for Zion to have the ball in his hands on a nightly basis. 2. Efficiency. With a PER of well over 26, this is debatably Zion's most impressive feat this season. Due to Zion being used differently within the offense, like as a wing creator rather than just a post-up big, he's been able to showcase his elite physical tools and skill set. He's got the ball handling abilities, namely an in-and-out dribble, to forge slight advantages and take advantage of the defender. He carries a unique suddenness, ferocity and delicacy to his game, helping him establish a more dominant attacking mindset. We often see him seemingly glide to spots on the floor in an instant, overwhelming defenders and bulldozing through them at the same time. And yet, he's still in control of his movements and capable of swift changes of direction or contorting his body in mid-air to make the play. The way he matches his blend of strength and quickness is rare to say the least, and affording him touches with space amplifies these traits and can help to explain why his efficiency has vastly improved. Zion is the rare interior heavy scorer who actually carries the potential to put up 25+ points a night just through his dominant play in the paint alone. He wields the physical tools to live in the middle of the floor, often navigating his own path rather than having someone else set the table for him. He leads the NBA in shots in the restricted area and is showcasing how efficient one can be with a heavy saturation of attempts inside. Most guys who rely considerably on production at the rim are more liable to defenses coming up with a simple game plan to disrupt these high percentage attempts. And yet Zion's ability to match power with speed and velocity make him a nightmare to try and keep up with on the court. Either he's too strong for anyone who matches his fluidity, or just too quick for anyone who matches his size. By diversifying his approach to the game offensively, the Pelicans broaden their scoring avenues on any given possession for the entire team. This way, he's got more space to leverage his talents rather than being forced into a role that throws him into a congested paint where defenders are lining up to try and stop him. Post-ups, flex cuts, and ball screens as the roller are still part of his arsenal, but they're seemingly becoming secondary features as opposed to the entire focus.
They need to move the ball better.
3. Playmaking. Treating Zion as a primary initiator on offense has had massive ripple effects surrounding pressure around the rim. When he's gearing up for a hard drive to the paint, he draws the attention of almost everyone on the floor naturally, at which point help defenders try to identify the proper reaction. Should I hedge, rotate, or retreat because of his dominance inside? And due to his absurd volume and tremendous efficiency in the paint, this becomes a massive dilemma for any defense going up against this phenom. During the first 10 games of the season, he registered 16 assists and 29 turnovers. However, since his dominant run in January and February, he's been trending significantly upwards with over 100 assists and just over 50 turnovers in that time. What was once nearly an 0.5 assist to turnover ratio has become nearly a 2.0 assist to turnover ratio. This is likely the product of improved passing reads on his heightened face-up and the driving volume which threatens defenders, provoking them to help off of their assignment, leaving the defense susceptible. Nothing eye-popping arises from these assists, but the spacious openings he regularly crafts by luring defenses into space is something nobody else can do. Zion has emerged as one of the team's primary on-ball catalysts, which has perfectly complemented the strengths of everyone around him. Ball and Bledsoe are now able to slide back into their optimal off-ball duties instead of being forced to lead an offense as ill-fitting on-ball creators. JJ Redick has begun to rediscover his jumper, significantly benefiting from the 20-year-old's substantial ability to draw in defenders. Ingram can key in more on his scoring development and budding passing repertoire instead of trying to shoulder the load every night as the team's go-to scoring option. Essentially, every perimeter player in the rotation, aside from Bledsoe, has seen a massive jump in terms of their scoring output since the adoption of Zion's unique playmaking ability. There's no question that Zion's improved in a variety of categories, only some of which we've covered in this video. And while there's certainly still room for improvement, specifically on the defensive end, it's still nevertheless impressive the massive jump Zion Williamson has taken this season in terms of his usage, efficiency, and playmaking ability.